Up and at 'em this morning, and a little chillier. We had one day. We had Tuesday that was really nice, right?
Oh, it's
Nice.
first part of the week was pretty nice, really.
Yeah.
Nowadays, kind of like, okay, fall's coming back.
Yeah. We're not complaining. We're only explaining, right?
That's right.
Exactly. So we want to thank our sponsors this morning: Walmart, Meadowview Healthcare Center, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Kentucky, and Cat and Core, Dr. Mindy Gunn, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Fox Relief Wealth Management, and Skyline Suites, and Celebrity Home Loans in the house this morning. We're going to find out some good information. And also, do you guys realize that in 1 week will be Thanksgiving?
I was thinking about that this morning because I was like, do you do your show on Thanksgiving morning? Like, am I gonna have to bring
we do.
turkey
You want to come
and
out? Absolutely. Come right on out with me.
Bring
We'll
some-
do this.
Well,
cranberry scones?
Oh, I-
Orange cranberry scones?
wow.
That's always, that just reminds me of
I won't get
Thanksgiving.
anything done. I'll be over here chewing. Okay, it'll be a show that you two can. You guys will have to be the carrying of the show. I'll be over here eating. Okay.
Are you going to be in town next week?
Yeah, I'll be in town next week.
Because you guys usually go to LBL. So
No,
I didn't know
not
if you
this
were
year.
doing that this
No,
year.
weather's going to be too bad.
All right. So.
Finch normally camps on Thanksgiving.
Oh.
If the weather's fine, we'll go to LBL and take the horses. But it's got to be above freezing and
Yeah.
not much rain.
Well, bring the horses and come on out. I'll go ride, and you guys just do this right
All
here.
right.
Okay? Yeah.
Becky will be on her horse with her cranberry scone.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about a better day. That'd be like living life large.
There you go.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. I'd love that.
I
Yeah.
do love a good scone.
Yeah. Don't get. Oh, you can't. Yeah.
I do.
And Autumn, I have a feeling you are really a good cook. I really do.
I don't know. Justin says I experiment too much.
No, I think you could really. Dennis, these are people we really want to keep close. I know you and Autumn are close, but I'm telling you right now, I think Autumn.
She hasn't invited me over to eat yet.
I know.
Oh,
8 years.
I think she's holding that on us.
Yeah.
I think
Because
she can
it's
really-
because we're still remodeling. And you know that's true.
Yeah.
You know it's true.
Well, I think you really, really.
I did make a good vegetable soup Monday night.
Oh, I love that.
I did. I
Yeah.
got that in for
Again,
lunch
you didn't bring
Tuesday.
me. You didn't
Yeah,
make me come
we didn't
on.
get any of that,
You
but
didn't
yeah,
invite me.
we need to be the test tasters, you know that. But now, so Dennis was saying that his Thanksgiving he does a little earlier. You do a little.
We do it the week before.
I like
Yeah.
that.
That way the kids can come over and they don't have to split up between two families. And we just have it the week earlier, then they can go to the other side. It's tricky. It slows down a lot of the hassle.
Right.
Makes
right.
life a little easier for everybody.
And it doesn't really. The date doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
It's getting together.
Yeah,
That's what
and we
the
do the same thing for Christmas, and we have forever.
Uh-huh.
So.
What about you, Autumn?
I think I made spaghetti or tacos last year for Thanksgiving.
Really?
Yeah, like we really don't do a lot for Thanksgiving. We used to, like my family's very hit and miss though on Thanksgiving.
Uh-huh.
Because
Well, with all the
We-
turkeys and the hams and all, we do Italian on Christmas.
yeah.
Usually lasagna.
Oh wow! Oh,
Yeah, we
it was
change it up
all
a little bit.
lasagna.
Yeah.
Mm.
Quite awesome cooking that.
Although I did get a call from my grandmother, they are doing Thanksgiving this year. So, like our family's so big that my grandma usually does like her kids,
Uh-huh.
and then none of the grandkids.
Well,
Because there's too. It's just we have too many. There's no place.
right.
So we used to go just in sisters, and sometimes we do. Sometimes it's just very hit and miss. It's very laid back. We're very laid back for Thanksgiving.
Well, there you go. Nothing
So-
wrong with that. And you know, there's nothing wrong also with how every family's got different traditions. Every family does things different, and there's nothing wrong with it. You know, I mean, you just do what you can
It is
do.
what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And every year is not going to be the same necessarily.
Yeah. See, because Christmas is our big one.
Yeah.
Like my mom is really. My mom, it's kind of like Dennis. It's kind of like, hey, go spend with your other family on Thanksgiving. I'm not gonna. But Christmas is her birthday, so Christmas is hers. Like that's.
If it's her birthday, then
Yeah, that's her one thing.
It's
She's
her
like,
queen. Yeah,
she's like, I don't care what you do, but any of the other holidays, I don't care, but Christmas is mine.
There you
So,
go. Well,
I get that.
you know,
yeah, and she's telling you that. You
Yeah.
know, and that's another thing too, communication and what's important. You
Yeah.
know, that's what's so good. Well, I am planning on anyway fixing the meal. And I have not bought anything yet, so I'm like, I
I still have
know.
a turkey in my freezer from last year. Because
Get
I
it
did
out.
spaghetti or like Thanksgiving came and I had this thought that I'm going to do it
Uh-huh.
just for my family.
Yeah,
Nothing.
yeah.
Nah, I didn't do that. So it's still in my freezer. I found it. I was
Well,
like, I wonder if this is still good.
Well, you better get it out today.
Yeah, start
We're gonna fix
unstalling,
it.
Autumn. Start getting on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is fun, and I need to get busy on mine too, and get the menu and what all. I think I figured it out. Turkey dressing. I think I can.
Do you do the traditional?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm like, yeah. Am I boring because I do that?
No, I think
No.
it's kind of a lost art sometimes.
Well,
'Cause
maybe, yeah.
Our family's kind of like Dennis's on Christmas. We don't do a traditional, like we'll barbecue or we'll do Italian or we'll do one year. I think we did like Christmas brunch and
No, I love brunch.
you know,
Yeah.
so we don't do like a traditional ham with. I think we did one year. One year we did say, hey, let's do a traditional.
Ham.
Yeah, but really, if you switch it every year, is it a tradition?
Well, the tradition of getting together.
It's a tradition, yeah.
Yeah.
The holiday's still a tradition.
I just meant the food.
Absolutely.
Food is just whatever.
Yeah.
Food's just fuel.
Yeah. And believe me, my group has a lot of fuel going on. Let me tell you, there's a lot of energy when we get together. All right, today is the 18th day of November. Today is apple cider day. Ooh, Dennis, would I get you
Oh my gosh,
I
apple
do
cider,
like
warm
apple
it up.
cider.
Make a little hot toddy out of it, a little cinnamon, a little something else added to it.
It's not even. It's not even what 8:30 in the morning. And he's talking hot toddy.
That's all right.
This
That's a good
is
way to
gonna
start
be
the
a
day.
We may or may not have wine in the office. It's like, is it too early to?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere,
That's-
right? Yeah. So Autumn, what about you and apple cider?
I like apple cider better than pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
probably not a popular opinion, but I don't love pumpkin spice. So if I had a choice, I'm apple cider.
I'm either one. Whatever's in
Yeah.
front of me. You know what I mean? But I do. Yeah, I do love apple cider.
Yeah.
You know, and you get apple cider, and then like there's so many good like pastries or a dessert with it, or
Here
We
goes
did-
the pounds. I can hear the
we
yeah,
pounds.
went
I know.
to,
You
um,
better stay active on that.
Went to Pennsylvania a few years ago and went into a little cafe, and they have what was called a cranberry bog, and it was apple cider with cranberry juice.
Oh,
It was so good that
I love that.
I then came home and started making it, and then I forgot until we were just talking about it now. So I may pull that back out this
Is
year.
it you serve it warm or
Yes,
Oh,
it is
love
hot.
Send
Oh,
me that recipe.
I'm gonna have to find it again, but it has a little orange in with it.
oh.
It's kind of like wassail.
Now I make wassail, and my group,
Yeah.
you know, I've been informed that wassail better be going. So I do.
Wassau's a great drink.
Now I do have the stuff for that. I'm ready for wassail. Yeah.
We will not eat, but we will have wassail.
Yeah, I
There
know.
you
We
go.
might not have any food, but we will have. I haven't bought any groceries, but we all have wassail. Let the. Well,
That's a
and
good
you know,
drink.
the thing about wassail too, it makes your house smell really good.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like
Maybe I need to do that.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
keep
but-
it on all year,
if you keep it on, then everybody. Oh
all
yeah.
season.
Well, it's like if somebody. Well, you know this. You guys know this because you're in the business. But like if somebody's gonna pop over, like put some popcorn in the microwave real quick, or what I mean, or do some cookies real quick in the oven, and makes your house smell
Oh yeah,
wonderful. A little
especially
trick. Yeah.
my weakness.
All right. Great American Smokeout Day. We actually had an employee. This has been so many years ago that he had. He tried to quit smoking, and on the Great American Smokeout, we talked about it on the radio, and he just stopped cold turkey and never did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
I was thinking smoke out like smoking meat. So I guess it's just like cigarette smoking.
it is.
like,
It
wait a
is
minute,
smoking. It is. I think. I guess. Audible. However you want to interpret it. But I do want to say I love the smoking meat. And I've got a son-in-law going to be smoking our turkey, so
There you go.
that'll kick it up a notch.
I think quitting smoking is a great task.
Yeah.
And it's not it's hard. It's not easy. And people who do it really accomplish a huge thing.
I think you're right, and I think that we have to be more understanding in that because
Yeah.
we all have our things, our things,
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I mean? Like I'm coffee. You know what I mean? If somebody said you need to go cold turkey on coffee, you might not want to be around me
You
for a
would
little
die.
while. You know what I mean? It might be something like, whoa, somebody get that woman some coffee quickly. So I mean, it means we all have
Yeah.
our crosses we have to bear, so to speak. And I think on that, and remember this, if you remember, go back to health class, every day that you quit, like your lungs start rebuilding back. And
Right.
that's such a blessing when you remember how like you see those
Yeah.
photos of when they quit for a week, they quit for a month, and
Right.
you can start seeing where your body starts.
Clean them up.
Yeah, and I love that.
I think I think we need to include the vaping in this great
Oh,
smoke
don't
out.
even on them. I
We
know.
need to include
I know. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. And then I just talked about this the other day because that's a whole nother.
It's
Yeah.
another avenue now. It's like, why did we even start it?
I would absolutely run. The commercials against vaping.
Mhm.
I will let them have free airtime. because
Mhm.
I'm so against it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
am so, and I think we need to educate because they came out, remember, and they lied to our children.
Right, saying that it was better than.
Yes, and that it was healthy and there wasn't anything in this, and there's all kinds of stuff
Yeah.
in it, you know, and our tobacco coalition, we've had them on several times, and just the lies, I can't stand that. You know,
Yeah.
you're preying on the innocent there, and so I really have.
You're misrepresenting, and then
Totally.
and we don't even know what the effects are.
Oh no!
I mean,
and then if you
Takes
do
time.
see them, it's really, it's really bad. And then they make flavored, like, you know what I mean. So they,
you can't even tell though. You can't smell it. It's
Yeah.
like if somebody's vaping, you can't even
Yeah.
cigarette. You can at least smell.
Yeah. Well, and I think both of them, and I encourage. I'm not, you know, what I mean, at all. I mean, I have my problems too, but if you can try, and I think baby steps,
Yeah.
trying to do it, and if today you don't succeed, you get back up on the horse and you try it tomorrow. You just got to keep on. But I do feel for anyone, with that,
Yeah.
and I'm with you, Autumn, on vaping. Vaping really, yeah. I get
Worries me. As I get older, my kids get older, I start worrying about this stuff I didn't worry about before.
Yeah.
Like, 10 years ago when vaping came out, it's like, whatever. Now it's like, oh, wait, I have a kid in middle school and it's there.
Yeah,
and it's,
absolutely.
That's where it starts.
It's
That's where
an
it starts.
issue. So
Yeah.
It's all about keeping up with everybody else.
Well,
it's
true.
It's that mental teenage pressure.
Yeah. And so many times you think that oh, it's not going to bug me, or it's not going to happen, or I won't be fazed by it, or I'll just do it. I'll just do it a little bit, and then of course, then it can get then it can get more into
But I think that's why it's important to communicate with your kids.
We're getting a photo real quick.
We are.
Okay.
Photo session.
As I
Hang on, everybody.
As I'm making coffee.
Yes.
Camera problems
Watching how
now.
to make her coffee.
coffee.
All right, here we go. Yeah, all right. All right. So anyway, but back to so yes, the Great American Smokeout today. So let's all see if we can participate in that for anyone that is. We kind of went a little bit further with that, but and it's needed.
Kudos to
Smoke
people
out,
who do
vape
it.
out.
Yeah,
Let's
absolutely.
set it most. Smoke out, vape out. Too.
I thought you said
And I just want to.
smoke out, make out, and I was like, okay, so instead of
Then it's-
smoking out, make out. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That's a good alternative.
Yeah, cup of
But,
coffee.
but too, I mean, if you have quit, I'm so proud of you.
I know. You're
I'm
right.
just so proud of you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. This is International Genesis World of Records. Did you guys ever want to have did you ever want something in that book? Autumn, you ever have that dream? Dennis, ever have that dream?
To break a world record, it sounded like a lot of work to me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
I'll drive.
It is. A lot of focus, I think. I think I'm a little too ADHD for that. Like, that takes a lot of focus, a lot of concentration, and I just don't know that I have it in me.
It's not been one of my.
I just jump too much.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm going to do 10 of them.
Well, yeah.
And
Like,
do none of them.
Yeah.
look at our office projects. We're going to do all. I mean, they never get done because we
It happens.
bounce
It's a
around. Don't
mess.
have enough time. Don't have
Well,
enough dedication.
You got to be flexible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. This is Married to a Scorpio Support Day.
No, we are both Aries, and that's fun.
Oh, is that a good mixture?
We make it work 15
There you
years.
go.
I mean,
asking, is it a good mixture?
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's good for me. It works for me.
There you go. Oh, Mickey Mouse Day. So, which is your famous Mickey, or your what's your favorite Mickey Mouse character? Dennis?
Well, Mickey.
Mickey.
Nah, I'm a Donald fan.
Oh, you can't.
I am. I'm a Donald fan. I don't think he gets enough credit.
I love Donald too.
He's my
that's
favorite.
So funny.
He's my
Yeah.
favorite.
They
Yeah.
are.
But I like the old ones. I don't like the new. I don't like the
I
new.
haven't seen it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't let my kids watch them.
You just not
I don't like them.
You
Really?
don't like them. Well, and I love Mickey, but then I'm a Donald's right there with me.
Donald.
I'm a Donald fan too. National Princess Day. Autumn. Can we
I
be
am a princess.
We are.
I mean, actually, I tell my kids. So
Dennis,
funny story.
Dennis is like, oh,
I'm
God.
actually the queen,
You're the. I was gonna
and
say,
so
yeah.
anytime we're in the van and I hit my brakes. Have I told you this? It's hilarious. So you hit the brakes, and momentum or inertia, whatever you want to call it, makes you bow forward.
Yeah.
So every time I hit my brakes, I tell my kids, "You're bowing to the queen."
Oh my
And
gosh.
so
They're gonna have a complex.
Okay, I'm gonna have to borrow that.
yeah, it's like
Okay.
bow to the queen
I
now,
love that. I
guys.
love
Thank
that.
you. Thank you for bowing to
I
me.
used to be a little jealous of that.
I-
Completely. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw it on a meme. Like it's not my own. I did take it,
I
but
did not see. I know I would own it. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
do.
And you're all males, so you right?
no, I have a girl.
Oh, you
do
I
have
have
a
a
daughter.
daughter. I have an
That's right.
8-year-old daughter who
Yeah, that's another subject.
she is gonna change the world.
Okay.
She's gonna be a leader, either of a prison gang or a company, one of the two. But she's a
Gonna be
leader.
CEO somewhere.
Somewhere.
Is she gonna be somewhere? That's awesome. Love
She's something.
that. I love that. All right. Well,
She's a warrior princess.
oh, I
Like
love
she's
that.
not a Disney princess. She's Xena.
I love that. There you go. National Princess Day, National Rural Health Day. That's something that we need to take care of ourselves. A lot of times we don't do that. Put that on the back burner. Let's see here. Push button phone day. Remember the push button phone?
Oh,
we have
yeah.
a push button phone in the office, don't we?
Do we?
Yeah, our phone's a push
We
button.
do. We do over here too. Look.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
a push button
Now you
phone.
guys don't know push button. Push buttons are well, you know, they just came out
The
right after
dial.
rotary.
Yeah. What?
Oh,
Yeah. That's
yeah.
Rotary, then you have to put a button. You
remember
actually
that?
push
Yeah.
not,
Yes.
Yeah.
not a screen push button. You
Yes,
have to push
but
button.
that's what we have in the
Yes, you do.
office. We have actual buttons, landline phones.
Maybe we do.
Now I'm just like Siri, call my mom.
There we go.
Sorry.
I don't even
it's
know
so bad.
anything.
It's so bad.
Like,
Social Enterprise Day. There we go. Use less stuff day.
I love that.
This
I do
country needs
too.
to do that.
Yeah, I know.
I
know.
need to do that.
Well, look at me. I'm completely. Yeah, I could use a lot less stuff. William Tell Day.
Oh, the return of William Tell.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah. Let's see here. World I cannot say the pancreatic hang on. Pancreatic Cancer Day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
a bad one.
It is
cancer
not
of the
good.
pancreas.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Pancreas. But I couldn't say pancreatic.
If I just change it.
Yeah, Pancreas Day. Pancreas Day. Yeah, which yes, we know. Yeah, about. So anyway, get out, and those are our holidays, I guess, today, or our celebrating
National
today.
days.
National days. Yeah, we go. All right, and we talked about all the things coming up in our listing area, and want to remind everybody tonight is the chamber dinner, and it will be at Cornerstone Hall tonight, and they will not be selling tickets at the door. So you have to
prepay.
You have to, yeah. Well, and I think so. The hostess, I'm sure, maybe they've already got their numbers because I'm sure the hostess has already started the
Yes.
food, and you know that food prep. You know that.
They are planning on doing some changes at the chamber, I heard. So good changes.
Do you want to?
I don't know. I can't elaborate. I'm just saying, if you're not a member of the chamber, maybe look into it because they do great things.
Mm-hmm.
We are members of the chamber, although I did forget to buy tickets to the dinner tonight.
You forgot to even tell me about it.
I did.
Look at Dennis.
And he came in last week.
Yeah.
He came in.
Dennis is like,
Let's move on.
Yeah, all right,
Let's move on now. All right, join the chamber though.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
They're doing great things though. I know they are trying to revamp and be more involved and help, and it's good. It's a good thing.
All right, let's jump in and see what all we got going on. What's happening at Celebrity Home Loans? And was it last week? Time goes by so fast, guys. It just seems like everything. We did we had the Veterans Day program, and we were going to do it right across from you. We had to move it because of the weather.
Yes.
Right.
That rain just started
right
hitting
in
right
quick.
then. Yes. But I drove by the square and I saw you two looking out the window. And it was so funny
We're like little pups
and
in the window.
if I could have had traffic, there was quite a bit of people on the square. But if I could have taken a photo, I would have loved to have had a photo. And and I mean this nicely, but my favorite song my dad always played it on my birthday was "How Much Is That Dog in the Window?"
No.
You know what I mean? And I wanted so bad to say,
Can I buy all the
bananas? Yeah. So anyway, you guys were cute as a button, but I saw you two looking.
It's because we're nosy.
Well, I love
We're
it.
nosy.
No, that's good though. That's good. That's all right. That's all good. Well, anyway, so I thought I had to report on that real quick. But
They do sit there. They are in their offices.
They do say
Oh
that.
yeah, you guys were there definitely. Yeah, not missing a beat.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I wanted to go back over that. I wanted to just tell you that one. I thought that was funny. But what all we got going on, and of course we're getting November. We're going to be for too long. We'll be in December, and I'm sure in December we'll be talking about getting getting ready for or talking about the end reports and all that going on, but.
File your exemptions. If you have not done yet. If you have bought a house or refinance this year.
Don't forget, file those exemptions.
Explain, okay, I mean, let's just, these are words maybe some people do not know, and let's kind of go, let's ABC this a little bit here.
So you have property taxes on your home and your property that you own, and you can get a tax break in the amount that you owe based on the exemptions that you have filed. So if you live in your property, it is your homestead or your main residence, then you can file a homestead and homestead supplemental tax deduction, and it cuts it almost in, a third to a half. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
And
it makes hundreds and thousands of dollars.
It really does. And then if you have a mortgage, which anybody who has visited us this year, you have a mortgage, I know, because I did it, or Dennis did it, like we did it.
We know you have that.
Go file it. It's another $3,000 exemption. So what it is, if your property is assessed, and we talked a little bit last week about assessment.
Yes, we did.
If your property is assessed at $100,000, and then you have your homestead and your homestead supplemental and your mortgage exemption, then they may only tax you. I know mortgage is $3,000. One of them is $12,000, and maybe $48,000.
It depends on the value. So the rule of thumb is the standard investment property taxes is 3%. And by the time you get your exemptions, you're usually down to 1, maybe 1.25. So you can really, that takes like on $100,000, it takes a $3,000 tax bill, makes it about $1,100.
I'm just gonna put my tax bill up.
That's just a good way of, explaining it, because the homestead and homestead supplement is not the same for everybody. It goes against the house value, so it can fluctuate a little bit.
So, for example, I have mine up because it is public record. So, if you're not sure, call. We can look it up for you.
Yeah. Google Washington County, Indiana.
Yeah.
GIS, and you can pull up all the records. You can pull up your own house.
So, like my deductions this year, my homestead deduction is a $45,000 deduction. My homestead supplemental is $29,540, and guess who didn't put their mortgage exemption back on after I refinanced this year? I need to do that.
That's what she figured out.
Wait.
Oh my gosh.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Thank God I looked on GIS and I could see that. I guess I will be going and seeing Debbie today to reapply my mortgage exemption, but my mortgage exemption is $3,000. So my property assessed, and guys, this is just public record, so I'm just pulling it straight from the website. My property assessed for $130,700. So because of all my deductions, that keeps my tax bill. It's about $650 an installment. If I did not have my exemptions, I would be paying probably $1,300 to $1,400 in installment.
Oh, that's a huge difference.
It's a big difference. So I need to go for my mortgage exemption today.
Well, and I'm joking with you on it, but that's
I really do.
It's one of those things that you forget and you don't know.
Yes,
a lot of people don't know, and of course,
you get busy you forget.
Absolutely,
I completely forgot because in my mind, I've already filed that, and when you refinance, your homestead doesn't drop off. That's why I still have my homestead. But since I paid off the mortgage, the mortgage exemption.
So they're not going to cut you a check for $3,000. They're just going to.
You signed the paperwork. Title company.
I didn't change my title. No, I didn't do a warranty deed.
The Vickers are here this morning again.
The Vickers are.
I know your homestead does not, unless you sell, your homestead does not fall off if you refinance. Just your mortgage exemption. Yeah, because you should still have a homestead. You won't have mortgage exemption. You'll still have a homestead. Because I've had this conversation with Debbie. We need to have Debbie on here.
Yeah.
We need to have Debbie on here. She can set us straight.
Well, that's a nice amount of money. If you can, and that goes, and they apply that to your.
It's just like a discount.
That's what
So instead of me paying $1,500 every 6 months, I pay $650.
That's a huge difference.
Now that's for the property you live in. If you
If you have rentals,
so it separates your
Right.
personal residence away from investment and commercial.
So our investment property, I have no exemptions on. And it's probably the amount that I pay on mine with my exemptions.
Right.
So
So
I need to
if
go on
they,
my mortgage.
if anyone needs some clarity before next week and wants to know right now, they go see what office do they go?
If you go to the auditor's office
Auditor's office.
in the courthouse, so if you enter in the north doors and you go in, you turn left, Malia's in there, Debbie's in there, and they can help you with all that. And they're the ones who help.
Auditor's office.
Yeah, they file your exemptions.
Yeah.
And they can tell you, oh, you don't have this one, or oh, you do.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
So
If you want to just check in on it, then go do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good, and they're there to help. Yeah.
and you can check it online.
And
On
there's
the
other
GIS.
exemptions. You know, there's over 65,
Yes.
there's blindness, and there's disabled. And there's a VA, a couple of VA. So,
Yeah.
you know, while you're there talking to them, ask them about the other options that's also available.
Love that.
I mean, we, with the closing table, they printed off all the options. It's like 3 pages of options. So,
And some
Yeah, you
people
want to
zero
check it.
out.
Yeah.
Like we have some customers that they have enough exemptions, they
Don't pay
zero out and they don't have property taxes
Oh,
due.
wow.
So check and see.
Wouldn't that be a blessing for somebody?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, check and see.
Now, I just had on actually earlier in the week talking about there's like I don't remember how many states. I'm gonna say 6 or 7 states that that do not have property tax. And I remember one of them was Alaska. They don't offer property tax. So how do they get their money then? What are they doing then? I'm wondering.
I think Florida's one of them. They don't really have. I mean, they have a property tax, but what they get most of their money from is stamp taxes when people buy homes. So now that state down
title
there,
fees in Florida are
oh
crazy.
yeah, it's nothing for $10,000, $12,000 worth of tax stamps down there. But most of their money comes when people buy a house. So there's what's technically called a tax stamp and a mortgage stamp, but it's just a fee that they charge, and it's pretty salty down there. And then the other thing I found out about doing loans in Florida, so if you bought a house in, say, the 70s, your taxes today on that house is basically the same. It doesn't go up like ours. And then they make up for it with these tax stamps. But now, if you bought that house in the 70s, and here we are in, 2011, and you sell it, the person that buys it, their taxes is going to be a whole lot higher because it gets adjusted for the new people. And then it'll stay pretty much fixed because they pay the big tax stamp. And that's one state that I know if I'm licensed there, and I do a few deals a year. And yeah, when we do them, I kind of have the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
Compared to their closing cost and ours, it's another whole world.
Oh wow! And you're calling tax stamp, or you're calling the stamp instead of it's a payment or
yes, that's what they call it. That's what they call it.
I'm not gonna lie, I still like when you mentioned the 70s. I still think that's like 30 years ago.
70s
It's
no
really
longer
not.
30 years ago.
But I do. In my mind, 1970 is still only 30 years away.
I know. Yeah, time flies when you have
I was
fun.
still in high school.
Yeah.
What am I telling
I wasn't
you?
even born.
Yeah.
But still,
You weren't even a twinkle in somebody's
I
eye
wasn't. No,
yet.
yes.
Well, it's really different. It depends on what state you're going to and where if you're.
Well, in Indiana, there's not very many states that offer a homestead exemption. So, like, Indiana is one of like
Well,
6 or 7.
Illinois, you get no discount.
Illinois taxes are really, really high.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because at the state fair, I sat by a couple, and they were from Illinois, and they said that Indiana has so much more opportunities, and they were buying a house in Indiana. They were moving to Indiana.
We don't know what we have here.
Huh?
We don't know what we have here
No,
until we go
and
other
I really
places.
like to point that out because we are very blessed in that, aren't we?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm licensed in Illinois, and I get 2 or 3 deals a year with people moving from Illinois coming to Indiana. That's pretty common.
Right. And not to knock them, it's just it is what
it's
it
just
is.
the difference in our state legislation.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
really. So.
Yeah. Well, it's very interesting for sure, and it's a lot to keep up with, and of course, if you might not want to know all of it. That's why we have the professionals like you guys. Yeah.
We don't even know it all.
So
We
is
learn
this
something new every day.
is this a good time to purchase a home?
Oh, every time's a good time for purchasing a home.
Anytime.
So,
I know, but like you think about the end of the year, or
Well,
there's not a bad time of the year. If there was a bad time, I would say the worst time would be April and May when, we've come out of winter, and that's when our phones start ringing off because everybody's looking. So probably now's a little better time because
I'm always busy.
The market slows down a little bit.
And
When you start getting into the holidays, it runs pretty
it
good.
does.
It
Yeah.
runs pretty good through September, October, and then the closer you get to the holidays, starting with Thanksgiving, from then till
People
after the
do.
first of years, it really slacks off because they're Christmas shopping and they don't want to move during. And I get all
And they
that.
don't want to. But we're very big on, don't touch your credit while we're doing your loan. And so if you're trying to buy a house during Christmas, you cannot go open credit cards and run up the cards you have. And, so some people don't like that.
Yeah.
But then you got to think, if you do that,
Yes.
then you come to us in February, March, then you have those high balances, and that makes a difference in what you can be pre-approved for. So shop smartly this year.
Yeah, don't.
Ooh, that's a good motto. Shop smartly.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many people come in and we pull up our credit report. Oh, you bought a new car last month. Well, yeah, I wanted to get it before I could get my home. I may not be able to get my car after I buy the house. Well, you got the car, but you're not getting the house.
Not that I encourage, but car loans are a whole lot more lenient than house loans. So,
and you throw a $600 car payment in there in your numbers, and it has a tendency to.
So buy the home first, and then see if you have enough
money.
I'm not saying that officially.
I'm
I'm not saying that officially. I'm just
just.
statistically, car loans are not as stringent as house loans. That's all I'm saying.
Well, they're not covered by the same guidelines. Federal government doesn't care if you get your car repoed next week, but they do care if we throw you out of your house. And it's two whole different worlds, and people don't understand it. Credit card, because that side of the finance world, they're not held accountable for how much credit they give you. It doesn't matter to them. Nobody comes back down their throats. We're held accountable. We can't put you upside down, and they can't.
Our names are on your mortgage. Like, you can go to the courthouse and pull mortgages and see what loan officer did it. It is recorded at the courthouse.
Loan officers, title company now, realtors, the whole 9 yards. There's so much stuff out there now.
So what does that then? Okay, so explain what that means. I guess as far as like as far as someone taking out. I guess why is there a difference? What's the difference?
So
why did they do that? Make that difference?
You had a lot of bad loans written. I mean, that's what started it, really. You had a lot of bad loans written that people never should have been put in. And then when we had the crash, when a lot of things went upside down.
Politics gets into everything. And
they got
I
involved.
really don't like getting into politics here because it's like I'm pretty one-sided. But you take back in the 80s, late 80s, in the 90s, you get the thought that everybody deserves a home. Everybody gets a home, and the government come out and they started pushing the lenders, make products that everybody can get a home. Everybody can get a home. Well, my thoughts is everybody has the right to
housing,
to housing, and they have a right to buy a home, but that doesn't mean everybody is able to own a home and be responsible for it.
Mm-hmm.
And some just don't even want to.
Right.
But by the federal government, our politicians pushing Fannie and Freddie, which they kind of control. Now they really do control because it's in conservatorship. They tell them to make these products available. And that happened. That's where all your subprime come from, your pick-up payment loans, 125% HELOCs. I mean, all this come from that thought and mind of our government. And then when it crashed, then the fingers got pointed to the lenders. You did all this. No, guys, stop and think. You just done this 10 years ago, told everybody that they can have a home, to make all this stuff. And now we're coming back around. So now they're holding lenders accountable. It got so lucrative, there was a lot of fraud. It bred fraud. And with the Dodd-Frank Act, when it come around in 2010, so now if you're a loan officer, you have to be licensed through the National NML licensing system. In fact, we're about to do our thing on them.
I'm pulling it up right now.
I saw that.
Great minds think alike, me too.
Yeah, because you didn't have to be licensed until 2008, 2009.
Yeah. The lender, I mean, you guys are
Who did
So
that?
it's just,
Individual loan officers
Yeah.
did not have to be licensed until.
you took a 20-hour class,
Oh,
and then you mailed $25 to the state of Indiana. They sent you a certificate that said you're a licensed loan officer.
Yeah.
That was all there was. So now you take all that class on, basically those 20 hours, and if you got some states you got to take another hour or two.
I take 4 more for Kentucky. I think you take more for Illinois and Florida.
Yeah, I take more. But you take it, and then you got a 125 question quiz that you have to go to some college or some testing center. And, you go in there and you kind of check, make sure you don't have any notes. Your hands are checked so you don't have notes. Pull your sleeves up.
It's like prison.
It's you can't take anything in there but you. And you're in a booth and you got to take this test and you got to pass it to get a license now.
Which our license number, by the way, is
okay. Go ahead.
Celebrity Home Loans LLC. Our NMLS as a company is 227765. We are an equal housing lender, and we can be found on the NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Now give yours.
My NMLS number is 140298.
And my NMLS number is 14022. So you get this number so they can track you now.
oh, wow.
Every lender has a number. Every loan officer has a number, and you're in the system. And if it's so serious. If you can have your license in all 50 states,
Mm-hmm.
so
They
you
can
go,
track
you
you
can
down.
spend the money, and you'll have 50 more different numbers, one for each state. And if something happens, and you're suspicious of fraud or doing something wrong or illegal, it goes into that system. And that state will suspend you, and I will guarantee you within an hour you'll be suspended in all 50 states. It happens that quick.
Oh, wow.
It's serious. It's serious.
Yeah.
And I'm not against it because really,
Yeah.
to a degree, you had a lot of loan officers out there not knowing what they were doing, making really bad loans.
Yeah.
Because they just, it was money
It was-
hand over fist
it was so
in that time.
Everything was rubber stamped. I mean,
Yeah.
And some of the loan officers and some of the underwriters and all, they talk about the old days. And it was, you got paid how many loans you could run through your, if you was an underwriter, how many loans did you approve a day? You got paid by how many you approved a day.
Yeah.
And they were talking 10 or 15. Now today, they underwrite one loan and maybe do partial conditions on a couple more. It takes 4 to 5 hours to underwrite a loan.
Mhm.
So if they were doing 10 a day, it was kind of like what they say, rubber stamped them.
Oh, wow.
Well,
it really is not fair to the person purchasing because, a lot of people do not know this. And they thought, until you explain, like go into detail, it was kind of not a really a good position to put someone in.
We have people that come in and they think they should get a home loan and, I get my car loan in just a couple hours.
Yeah.
Well, I do too.
Well, it's going to take you about 30 days. It is a different.
It's just a different world now. They get really, if you haven't bought a house since 2010, it's a whole different world out there. And
And that causes
they don't
frustration.
understand it. People with good credit, they're the ones that get the most frustrated.
I have an 800 credit score and I've been at my job for 20 years. Why do you need all this stuff?
Well,
I have to make sure you can repay it.
yeah.
That's
And
what it boils down to.
We have to make sure there's no fraud involved in it. So we have
But
to
it's also
follow.
for their protection too.
It is.
It is.
So that's, honestly, making sure that.
But when they got 800 credit scores and they have perfect and they got all this money saved up and all,
Their thought is I make my
they're
payment
offended.
and it shows that.
Yeah. But we still got to prove it. We still have to. We can't treat you any different than we can anybody else. By law, everybody has to be treated the same conditions, same scenario, same guidelines. I can't help it. I apologize. If you don't like it, complain to your congressman and your senators.
Which is really crazy because there's not one deal that's the same. Like we have to treat everybody the same, but not everybody is the same. And so that's where it has to get a little creative and a little, make it work. You're trying to personalize something that is very black and white.
Right. Yeah.
So
It's just a different world.
Right. And is this a good time? Our interest rates, where are we at with that? Is this good? And
I still think interest rates are lower than I thought they would be.
Yeah, they are. They're good.
They are up a little. If you were looking back in April, May, June, they are up a little bit now than what they were back then. But they're still under 4.
They're still under 4.
I mean,
and people come in and some of the younger kids, they complain, oh my gosh, it was 2.875 last year and now you're 3.5. This is terrible. And I just look at them and I said, you know what? Come back to me in my first house. It was 10.5%.
Yeah.
What are you saying? I would love to have bought my first house at 3.5, not 10.5.
I love
Right,
when Dennis
right.
gets all theatrical.
Yeah.
But
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
And don't, yeah, as you can see, don't talk to Dennis about that, okay?
Yeah, like I'm actually
Subjects to avoid with Dennis.
I'm
okay?
expecting one day him to go find his original mortgage.
Yeah.
You want me to?
I think
I know right exactly where it's at.
I knew you did.
Yeah.
Like I expect him to have that so he can like show
Put that on the
people.
wall and just show
Look,
people.
my
This is
first
what I
mortgage
paid.
was
Yeah.
14%.
Yeah.
And my second was 10.5. I can go get both of them. I know
Yeah, I
exactly where
think
they're at.
my first mortgage. I bought my first house in 2005, 2006. And I think my interest rate was like 6.5.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you think of that now, and it's like, man, that's a high interest rate. And I'm like, back then it was good. Like
Yeah.
I do remember writing
Yeah.
loans at 8, 9, 10%.
Sure.
Well, when I moved down here in 2003, I mean, that house we bought, it was 6.25.
Yeah, so
I
it's
thought
like,
that was great. I
Yeah.
mean,
please stop whining over 3%.
Well, and
because-
that's no, we.
but
Yeah.
inflation is higher. I will say that.
Yeah.
So like the first house I bought was 60,000, and now it's probably you probably couldn't buy it for less than 140. So it does balance out.
Right.
Your inflation's high, your interest rate's low. Your payment's probably about the same.
Well, and I think that that's something, and we always talk about this, but sometimes we look at what we don't have instead of what we do have.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it is still good.
It's awesome good, And
Yeah, they're great rates. I mean, they're still good rates. And if you don't like it, then you can buy it down. I mean, if you want a 2.5% rate,
have at it. We'll get it for you.
you
It's
got to
there.
pay for it, but okay.
Numbers don't make sense, but yeah, it's there.
I mean, it's going to cost you more than, but it is there. It is an option.
Yeah.
So,
Well, there you go. Well, it's good to know your options, or
Yeah.
just to understand it all, because it's like a.
Well, and you're talking about, this is a good time. So if you just stop and think, so the last 2 years in particular, the house market values increased 10 to 15% per
Yeah.
year, and maybe going back 3 years. So you think, oh my gosh, we're talking recession, they're talking this and that. Or I hear people talk about 2008. Well, it's a different world than 2008. I've lived through 4 or 5 recessions. Yeah, the thing's going to slow down. But the one thing, other than the crash of 2000, which is because of the subprime, we know what caused
we
that.
know what caused
That's
it.
not, we're shortage of houses now, not excess. People are going to slow down buying, but values are not going to drop. Instead of going up 10, 12, 15%, they're going to go back to what is more normal, 3, 4%.
Yeah.
So, but the interest rates are going to go up. And maybe they'll go down. I mean, sometimes in recession, you get people buying, depending on how far, they'll lower the rates and push people to buy so that you can get the economy stirred up. So it's a gambling. You're gambling, okay, do I buy now at a little cheaper price and pay this 3.5%? Or do I wait and it goes up another 5% but I get 2.875?
But you have to
It's
think.
going to be the same, but you're going to give more for the house. So my suggestion, if you're in the house market, we're going into the holidays, there's not going to be quite the fight over houses.
And there's not going to be maybe
overbidding.
the inventory because people don't want to
Yeah,
list their
that is-
houses during the holidays.
But if rates go down, we can always help you refinance. Get you a little
Yeah.
rate. But
You gotta
it's
think.
that bird in the hand versus 2 in the bush.
Until interest rates go up, that really is what curbs inflation. Because when you let your interest rates go up, you're buying less house, it's worth less, quote unquote. And when you get your appraisal and you compare, then maybe what was $250 last year, all the houses around it are now only selling for $220. That house is now only worth $220. So really,
Yeah, but you're not gonna
it's
see that. You're not gonna see
no.
that
I'm just saying though, in general statement, raising your
Yeah.
interest rates or rates in general is what helps curb inflation. So as long as we still have lower rates, people can buy more house. I mean, $100,000 house at 3% interest rate is different than a $100,000 house at a 6% interest rate. Your payment's different.
Yeah.
You can buy more with a lower interest rate, and they're capping that by your houses are going for more.
More, yeah,
It's a double-edged sword.
for sure. Sure. Well, it's very interesting, and of course, we always, want to remind everybody for those first-time listeners that um, this is the first place to start. Is to start with Autumn and Dennis. If you're thinking about possibly purchasing a home and making sure and seeing what your dollar amount can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or just even if you're not planning on purchasing for a couple of years, like we have customers that come in and say, "Hey, I don't want to purchase yet. I'm looking in the next year. How do I get ready?"
That's a big thing. How do I
Come
get
on
ready?
in. I mean, if you're not planning on buying for a year or so, that's okay. Come on in. Let's make sure you're ready in a year. Don't come to me in a year when you want to buy,
Right.
and then me say, "Well, now you got to do A, B, C, and D." Come on in. If you're interested, hey, it's down the road, but this is what I want to do. Let's make a plan now.
Yeah, and that's like, sometimes they say their credit's a little bad or something, they can't buy right now, and they got this place. So what we see a lot of people do is go buy on contract. And that creates, so then you still need to come and see us, because if it's not done right, it creates more headaches.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't even technically refinance them because they've done all the wrong steps. So in our world, when if you do a contract, the only way you can prove you did not write that contract before you walk through our door is you record at the courthouse.
And
Because it doesn't matter what the dates are. Anybody can write any date on any piece of paper. The only way to prove 100% that it happened 3 years ago is get that sucker recorded. And in the same breath, to the standards that we're held at, and because of the anti-money laundering laws in 1976, we have to prove your funds. We have to prove you made those payments.
Yeah,
and the
don't pay by cash.
The only way you can do that is with a canceled check or transfer from your account to their account or money orders, because cash does not exist in the mortgage world, because we can't prove that you're not laundering money.
And you have to, and that's a thing too. I think sometimes this is hard because for as technologically advanced as we are today as a society, we still need a paper trail.
Yeah, and that's where the really good clients get upset. Well, I don't launder money on that. Well, I understand that, but
I can't
because of the crooks in this country,
Right.
we're held to different standards, and
Sure.
we have to treat everybody again. We have to treat everybody the same.
Yeah.
It goes back to that. So if you're going to go contract, please come in and see us. Let's have that conversation. Let's make sure it's done right. Then at the same time, we can help you with your credit. Here's what you need to do. Get a road plan. Get a road map to where you're going, and then follow it. And it makes life really easy. Otherwise, like a couple we get every now and then, it just sometimes they don't even happen because they didn't do anything right. It wasn't recorded. They paid cash.
It looks like you didn't write in this.
And it's like, okay, you got to get it recorded. You got to do it with a check. Now you got to wait 12 months. And they've already owned it for 3 years. It's like we got to do it the right way.
Well, and the benefit to recording it at the courthouse. So, like, if you do a land contract and it's recorded, then again, back to what we were even talking about earlier, you can file those exemptions.
Yeah.
A land contract is a legitimate document. It is a mortgage, and so you can go file your exemptions and keep your taxes low.
Yeah. And then, then people come in and say, well, I can get receipts, or they'll write me a paper. Well, hey, I can write you one here in my office. It's not any good either, I can go to the drugstore down there and get a receipt book out there and write them all out. Okay, so what good does just a handwritten receipt? That's not a third party.
Like, I remember I had one year that came in and rented from somebody, and they had one rental and one receipt book. And so all their receipts were consecutive. You have numbers on your receipt, and they were all consecutive numbers.
Oh, that drives underwriters.
And underwriters were like, that's not even real. You don't have consecutive numbers on receipts. Like, no.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, when you have one renter and one receipt book, you do.
Yeah.
And so like that, but for that was a big fraudulent thing of, no, she just went to CVS, got a book, and wrote them all. Well, no, but at the same time, I can see that. I can't really argue with you. I see why you think that.
Yeah.
So canceled checks, though, go through a third-party bank who verify you have the funds and cash them and honor them.
And now today, you can transfer from one account to another.
Yeah,
so
people do
if
that.
you do that, that's just as good. We can see in your account. pull 12 months of your bank account, see that money coming out, and then see it going to another account, and then just get a copy of that other account so that you can verify it's whoever you're renting it off of or that company or whatever. It works.
Yeah.
Or if they got a management company, which is a third party that they are.
Now people do everything through like Facebook Pay and Verbo and Verbo's a rental thing. Venmo. Thank you. Like, wait a minute.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's another issue.
The Cash App and
because
that's a nightmare.
You can't get statements from them.
It's
Again,
a
there's
nightmare.
No statements. There's no monthly statements there. So it creates another whole issue in its own world that's popped up this year.
Or if they do have statements, people just don't know how to access them.
Yeah.
Is what I have found, because they just do it on their phone. They don't really know how to access the statements, and because they're mobile apps. And here's the thing too: if you have a mobile app, there is a website somewhere.
Yeah.
But because people do it on their mobile app, they're like, "Oh, I can't pull that off the internet. It's on my phone."
When they got that app and they got those statements, they don't even balance their check.
Oh.
That's another whole issue.
Autumn whispers.
Funny story. So funny story. We have a little bit of time.
Yeah.
We were on our way to school the other day, and Max, I know the schools, thankfully, because of
children.
everything with COVID, they have free lunches, but my children still like money in their lunch account, so they can do extras. Like Max, I did find out he's buying cookies and then turning around and selling them.
Oh my God!
So that boy,
Max is,
he's something. But
he's gonna be a good entrepreneur.
He's something. So I just asked him. I'm like, because he never takes a water bottle to school, but he's like, oh, I just buy one at lunch. Well, okay. So I asked him. I said, what's your lunch account at? Because I don't check it online. He's like, oh, I think I have like 38 cents. Okay, great. I mean, like, he's still eating lunch. They still give him lunch, so he's not starving. Yeah. So I handed him the checkbook and I said, well, write out a check for $20. And he's like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, you're going to do that. So we sat there and walked him through writing out his check and what goes where. And like my kid's in the passenger seat freaking out, like stressing out over writing this check.
Yeah.
And I was like, Max, I've taught him how to write checks. He wrote checks all through elementary school, but it's been a while. And he's like, they're going to know that's not your handwriting. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's my signature.
That's coming in.
And so so by the time he got all done, he was like, that was so nerve-wracking. And I was like, well, I'll tell you. Because he's like, why'd you even make me do it? I'm like, because you're not going to be somebody who does not know how to balance money and handle your finances and write a check.
Right.
So you're learning now, and I promise you they will cash the check. And if they don't, then the bank will call me and I will take care of it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? The check cashed just fine.
Sure.
So I actually saw it this morning. So I'm going to show him the check and say, look, it cleared the account.
Yeah.
You did a good job. Like,
yeah.
You're fine. You're not going to prison.
But that's good. That's really good that you did that because so many times, and we talk about. I'm gonna go a little bit different subject, but even writing a letter. Knowing where to put the return address and knowing where to put the stamp.
Yeah.
And I mean that can be people necessarily don't know that anymore.
Yeah.
And
we
just like check writing, that's awesome, Autumn. That
you gotta do it.
Yeah.
I'm driving. I can't.
I've had some checks that I've gotten that nervous when I've written too. So tell him that I'm with him.
Yeah. Well, he's like, my handwriting, it looks awful, and I was like, dude, they don't care. They're looking at the amount.
Yeah.
They're making sure all the stuff is there.
Exactly.
But that pulls another point though. Kids are not writing.
I know.
Kids are on their Chromebooks, which I'm not against. I get it, and with the last 2 years, they have been lifesavers.
Have they ever?
But kids are not writing.
Right.
And it's like, guy,
we're losing something.
Yeah. Well, they definitely need, and no matter what, if they only do it from time to time, Autumn, that's wonderful that you're having him do that. Yeah, that's good because you never know. And I was a check writer and I was that last one to jump on the ship of the
I still write checks.
Yeah. I mean,
still, I do now let my bank send them to the water and the gas company for me.
There you go.
I do. I do still write checks.
Now we talk about that ideally, okay, like it's weird because like it still sounds weird, but we live in a world that like people don't even want cash anymore. Everybody wants something. Yeah.
No contact.
Yeah. So if you like when we talk about like if somebody does have money and they've gone honestly and they're honest and they've just been saving or whatever, can they when they pay something, can they go get like a cashier's check? Is that like, oh, okay, that leaves the paper trail? Is that like that would show that it's not money laundering, or is that
if it comes out of their account?
Yeah. If you have, so, well, for rent, I guess really technically for rent, you could. You
Yeah.
could for rent, because then I'm just going to take your receipts. I don't have to prove it clears your account. But
Okay, so I had one
earnest money,
the other day I had one. I mean, just this, it
Yeah.
happens this often. So just last week, right after the show, a couple come in and we were in there last spring. You know, you got to get your down payment. You got to save it up. We went through all that stuff. And, well, we're ready to buy now. We got our down payment, blah, 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 you know. And I'm looking at your bank statement. It's like, where's your down payment? Oh, it's at home in the safe.
I can't use that.
Can't use that.
Go deposit and come see me in 60 days.
You got to wait. I told you we need a savings account. Well, but I didn't trust myself not spending. I can't help it.
Well,
You know, and we see it all the time. I mean, it happens at least 3-4 times a year
and we have,
consistently.
even like with earnest money, we will have people that will go to pay earnest money with cash. And this happens a lot. And now, most of the time, our realtors will say, I can't accept cash, or lender can't prove it. You need to write a check, get a cashier's check, something.
Yeah.
Well, if you take that cash, if you get a cashier's check, that's fine. But if I can't prove where that cash came from out of your account, if I can't match it, then I can't use it, because I have no proof it came from you.
And so you go along that line. Here's another one we see. Yeah, I got my down payment. I sold a car the other day for $5,000. Do you have a copy of the title? No.
Do you have a bill of
receipt?
sale?
No. Do you have a bill of sale? No. But I got the cash here.
Can't use it.
Can't use it. Can't prove it.
So if you're going to do that, if you are going to sell something, put it on Facebook so you have an ad, marketplace, something like that.
Swap shop.
Swap shop.
Yeah.
Have a bill of sale, which you can Google, and it doesn't have to be fancy. And then please don't accept cash. Get a cashier's check, get something that you can prove.
And then we got to prove the value that you got out of it is the real true value to it.
Yeah.
So then we got to go search
Then
that
I have
out.
to Google it. I just had to Google 2 Kawasaki motorcycles, make sure they were worth what. And by the way, he did not get what they were worth. But
He got his
Somebody
money.
got a good deal.
somebody got a good deal. But,
Wow.
but like we do have to prove that yes, this is what they were worth. You didn't sell a crib for $800 that you got you bought at Walmart for $2. Like, no, I'm sorry, that doesn't work.
No, I know. The price is right.
Yeah.
Price is right, yeah.
So
It's a
it
crazy
can
world.
be done. Like, it can be done. You are allowed to sell your personal belongings. I did have some lady who sold a pool, but I was able to pull the Facebook Marketplace ad. She had it on Facebook. I was able to say, here's the check. Now, in that case, I didn't have a bill of sale per se, but I did have a canceled check, and I had like the Facebook message, you message people. And so she had her conversation log. So it's like, that's all I have. It was enough that it worked, but it's like,
It's an argument.
it's an argument. It's a fight.
Yeah.
But here, thankfully, the lady did pay with the check. So it's like, here's her check. It matches. It made sense.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. And those are just good information to know and to realize. And sometimes we don't think about that.
Yeah, and protect yourself. It does. At the end of the day, it protects you.
Yeah.
It protects you.
Yeah.
Protect yourself.
I can't tell you how many people come in and they rent and they pay cash, and what they think they owe and what the renter that's renting the house to them thinks they owe, quite frequently the balance is different.
Yeah.
And when you pay with cash, you can't prove you made 12 payments and they say you only made 11. I mean, how are you going to prove that?
Right.
Then they get into fights and arguments. And it's like, just protect yourself and make your own, just to protect yourself and that you made all your rent payments. Keep a paper trail.
Paper trails will never hurt you.
And transfer.
Unless you're doing something illegal, then they will.
Yeah.
Then they'll catch you.
Then
So please don't do fraud. Like,
Go to Craigslist there. You can buy all the crap you want over there.
that's my thing. Don't commit fraud, and then
No,
you don't get in
no.
trouble.
Well, and it's always nice to make sure that you're doing it right,
Yeah.
and to check with professionals like Autumn and Dennis. And right here, let's give location and phone number and how people get a hold of you if they want some more information. And of course, we have so many topics, and it just feels like we can't hardly get everything done. I mean, within this time frame, because there's like so much stuff and information to give.
There's
So much
a lot of
happens every
information.
week. We can come up with a
Well, and
subject.
these are
just
good
from-
life lessons. You know what I mean?
They
Regardless
are.
of, I mean, these are things that we, being responsible for yourself and being responsible for your own finances are so important.
Well, yeah, because it's going to come back and bite you. It's going to, you know, you can either make life easier, or you can make a life tough.
Yes.
What? I got you. Nothing to say.
I think she.
Hey, I won one.
I was kidding. I was.
had a thought. She had a thought.
I was still on, please don't commit fraud, is what I was still on. And so what I was going to say is, I'm too pre for prison. So,
Oh my gosh, that is.
paper
I
trails.
hear that all
She's
day.
the queen.
I'm the queen. I'm too pre. I would
Awesome,
not, although
Molly.
I was in a closing the other day and I made that comment because I go through my spill and I do my papers. I'm like, please don't commit mortgage fraud. I'm too pre for prison. It is investigated by the FBI, like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And the realtor looks at me and goes, I don't know. I think you do really well in prison.
Oh
And I was like, I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not. Like,
no.
I would not do well. Anyway, so sorry.
Well,
I
and
just
it's nice to have, like you said, someone watching your back like you guys do. Having that safety net to make sure that we are, crossing all of our T's, dotting our I's, doing what we're supposed to do, and that we can be,
yeah.
and the done and the deal done right.
Right, and it goes easy. It goes smoother and it goes easier.
Yeah,
Because buying a home is stressful.
It is.
very stressful.
It's stress. It is.
Very
It is very stressful.
It's one of the most stressful things you do in your life, and then the next most stressful is building a new home on your own. That's another whole
Or remodeling.
or remodel.
10 years in.
Yeah. All right.
So
We're getting it done right. You might have you changed just real quick in the remodeling 10 years. Have you changed your mind throughout the 10 years of like what you wanted to do or changed the?
no, we've just had life changes.
Okay.
So I mean that happens. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I
I just wondered if you had because a lot of times people go to build a home. This is a whole other program. Build a home, and then like halfway through it, they want the kitchen done different. Or they
Yeah,
want something done
no.
different.
we were gonna be finished this year. We took off in March to finish it. Well, then we had to replace all of our pots. Well, remember?
Oh,
We
Yes,
had
other
to
pots.
undo everything, dig through the concrete floor, and replace all of our
Oh.
lines to the septic tank. It was a mess. It was just a mess.
And that's when the TV show would break to a commercial.
Yeah, yeah. And anyway,
There was no commercial.
but it's done now. Now I have all new pipes. So,
Yay! That's right. Awesome.
so Celebrity Home Loans LLC and MLS 227765. NMLSconsumeraccess.org is where you can find our information. We are an equal house lender. We are located on the square in Salem, 18 Public Square, 2 doors down from the bakery, cattywampus from the Mexican restaurant. Our hours are 9 to 5. Phone number is 812-883-0670. My cell phone number is 812-620-6121. It is the same phone number I've had since I was 16. So if you've known me in the last 20 years, number's still good.
Oh my God.
Her email is too. If you don't,
It is.
you knew her
Since
email as
11.
a teenager. She still got it.
11 years old. I'm a little embarrassed by that. Go ahead, Dennis.
All right, Dennis Baxter, NMLS number 147022. My cell phone is 812-620-4025. Call me, text me. I will answer either way, or I'll get right back to you.
He does text now.
I do text.
love
It took me a
that.
long time to get to doing that, but yes.
Love Dennis' phone now.
Well,
No,
and-
that's a fun fact.
Oh, the newest thing we're getting ready to do is do video in our emails. You will be getting our email with a little video in there. So
Super
that's-
excited.
Technology, gotta love
Look
it.
at you guys. All right. Real quick, I do want to say, just before we get out of here, 74% of us said they would be fine with an all sides and no turkey Thanksgiving. Real quick, because
Really?
we are, yes, because next week on this date will be Thanksgiving. A new poll found that that 74% said that they would be okay with all sides and no turkey, meaning no turkey with just sides, and the average person expects to have at least 5 of them to choose from this year, 5 different sides. We'll see the 10 most important sides are. What do you think the number 1 side is?
Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes.
You got it. Mashed potatoes. Number 2.
I'm going to go with green
Gravy.
beans.
No.
Two conservative, heterosexual, gun-toting, football-loving, evangelical Christian white men. In other words, the 2 most dangerous men in America. Rick and Bubba.
You got it. 6 minutes past the hour. Speedy, the real Greg Burgess, Helmsy, Eddie Van Adler, all here, ready to move forward for another hour. And we thank you for being with us. Welcome back for a brand new hour. There's Bill Bubba Bussy.
Rick, glad to be here. Thank all of you for joining.
A couple of things. New Rick and Bubba Double CD Herd Immunity available right now. If you want it for Christmas, make the move to the store. If you want a hard copy, there at rickandbubba.com. And there's a link in show notes if you want to go right to it. If you go to the store and you're looking for it, click on the media option and you'll see it sitting right there in the old #1 slot. Also, Helmsy, I know you had a good time last night. New Life Chapel, Madison, Alabama.
Yeah.
How'd Man Church go?
It was good.
Everything.
Had a great time.
And I'll tell you, I had a lot of folks that were heading your way. And it sounds like y'all had a good night.
It was.
If you're looking to what's ahead in the O'Reilly Auto Parts upcoming events, Helmsy will also be speaking this Sunday night, the 21st, at First Baptist Church, Pelham, Alabama, where you hear us right there on 104.7 WZZK. So go by and see him. And also Wingo will be out on the 21st as well. And Wingo, where's that Wingo headed? Wingo's headed. There he is. He's over in Winfield, Alabama. Home and Mule Day, Bubba. Winfield First Baptist Church, also Sunday night. So you can see Rich Wingo there for Man Church. If you want to find the upcoming events at rickandbubba.com, right there under events. You can also go to themanchurch.com, hit events if you're just looking for the different speakers speaking at the Man Church. Just think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. All right, so let's discuss this video. This thing with us agreeing with Bill Maher is starting to make us feel strange.
Rick, how many times in a row have we done this?
I think what we're discovering is that Bill Maher, we would disagree on all things moral, and there's a lot that we would disagree on. But I think that Bill Maher, take all the moral disagreements out, he certainly is no fan of people that believe in the one and only living God and believe that his redemption came through Jesus Christ and Jesus Christ alone, the Son of God. He doesn't believe any of that, thinks all that's silly. He hates all real religions, really. But when it comes to freedom, I think Bill Maher is not a fan of what's happening, because I think he can see the writing on the wall, because folks like Bill Maher could get canceled at any moment. This is the Dave Chappelle special on Netflix, where they tried to accuse Dave Chappelle of being one of the words we have now. What are you, homophobic, anti-transgender, all mean and wicked and all this? And on CNN, Bill Maher says, "I'm sorry, I'm on Team Dave Chappelle." Here we go.
Well, I defended him.
I know.
I'm Team Dave.
Why?
And free speech. Well, first of all, you say going after. You use terms like homophobia.
Mm-hmm.
I was speaking recently about phobia. There's a word that's traveled quite a bit from its original meaning. A lot of mission creep on that word, phobia. It's become really just a way people, a word they use to say, I don't like something.
That's right. It's not a fear.
Phobia means an irrational fear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, spiders, arachnophobia. You know, you have an irrational fear. Okay, germophobia. I see all the hand sanitizers here. To me, that would be germophobia.
But those are only for shaking hands with me.
I see. Which I never was worried about, and still am not. But I think he's not afraid of homosexual,
Right?
Or it's not transphobic. It's that this trans stuff is very new. I don't think he or myself or any other, again, right-thinking person thinks there aren't such things in the world as people who are trans, who are born in a body that doesn't align with what their brain is telling them. That's okay. But now we're talking about children. It's interesting. Someone I know, a woman in her 40s, said to me somewhat recently at a dinner party that when she was a kid, she was what they used to call a tomboy. She said, I never was interested in wearing a dress. I only wore pants until I was like 14 or 15. She said, if I was around today, they would have made me into a boy here in California.
So true.
That's what we're talking about. This is new, so don't put it into this category of this is settled science. With anything that deviates from the one true opinion on this means you're some horrible bigot and transphobic. That's not what's going on here.